All righty, Lisa. Well, thanks for hopping on with me. First question for you is, can you take me back to the moment or your big aha when you realized that something needed to change or, you couldn't keep doing life the way that you were doing it?
Absolutely. I remember I remember the night it was because it was actually our son's birthday. Crazy as that is. So, and they're grown. We have two grown adult children, and but I was sitting there that night. Let me take you back a step further. So, quick version. I've been a hairdresser for 36 years, self-employed my whole life, and I did that so I could have control of my time. What I didn't realize is I wasn't going to have control of trading time for money. At 18 years old, when you start that, you don't realize that's what there's a trade in something, right? So I didn't realize that I would be trading time for money. But I knew I always wanted to be a present mom and I wanted to be there and I didn't want someone telling me that I couldn't. So, been a hairdresser my whole life and I've enjoyed every bit of it, but I was sitting there and it was like 11 o'clock at night and I was scrolling on Facebook like we do. And I seen this lady's post and I had seen it a couple of times, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But this one particular time, um, it was a photo. It was her standing um on the beach with her family making money. And I'm like, oh, I want to be that person. Like
Mhm.
I want to know how to make money from anywhere. And so I kind of stalked her a little bit, like I clicked on her profile and kind of like stalked her little thing and I'm like, okay, seriously, her friend just made $52,000 in 5 months or whatever, whatever. And so I just kind of scrolled. Well, then I went back to it. I'm like, no, 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 no. Hang on a second. What is actually happening here? So I looked it up and is legit business, legit. And so I literally walked across the living room, grabbed my wallet, got my card out, and I started to go in at the $100 level. And I thought, okay, I'll just get the $100 because then if I don't make it work, then I'm not losing much.
Mhm.
And then I thought, I can't even buy a bag of groceries for $100. So why would I even try to make this work? Because I mean, $100 is a lot, don't get me wrong. But $100 investment, don't do anything with it, wouldn't have even phased me.
Right.
So I didn't even look at the next two levels. I went straight to the legacy builders, and something about legacy hit me because I knew that being self employed, what I've been doing my whole life, I've never been able to build a good retirement up, much less leave a
Mhm.
legacy for our kids. And that hit me. I was like, oh my, like that's a game changer. I could build a legacy for our kids to where when they're in their 50s, they don't have to worry about how are we going to retire? Because that's what I've done. I've worried about how we're going to retire. I don't want to work forever. So I went all in. I thought, okay, yep, I'm doing it. And then it said 100% profit. And I was like, how can it be 100% profit? That don't even make sense. The company has to make something.
Right.
And so then I was like, I don't care. If I can make 100% profit, I'm going to do it. So I just went all in, didn't hesitate, and haven't looked back. I have loved every minute of it.
No, that's great. I love that. I love that. So, as far as you spoke about not having really time to do anything, and you're caught up in the system of trading time, for dollars. What
Mhm.
else were you really craving at that point? Was it, impact, stability, maybe even purpose?
Well, I mean, if I could figure out how to make money to build our retirement up, I knew if I could learn, I could show others because I've been behind the salon chair for 36 years.
Mhm.
That does not require a computer at all. The
Right.
most I do with tech in the salon is I have a Google Calendar where I put my appointments.
Mhm.
I mean, that's literally all the tech that I've ever done. I tried real estate for like 4 years. Well, all that is uploading and downloading forms. That don't require a whole lot,
Hmm.
although it took me a minute to figure that out. Um, but I thought, man, if I could figure out how to do this, how to truly do this, working a couple hours a day from wherever I am, it doesn't matter if we're home or if we're on the in the car, or if we're like on the beach, like that girl was. I wanted to figure this out, and I knew if I could, I knew if I could help others because I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I'm likable. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm fun. So I don't know. It's just fun, and it's fun getting to have the opportunity to even change someone's life. So
Yeah,
knowing now, because once I learn this knowledge, no one can take that away from me, right? And so knowing that, um, I love it because I know that I can help others. I know that I can show self-employed people or I don't, wherever. I know that I can show you a way to get the automations to work to build your retirement or what
definitely.
fund your whatever, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a great answer because, a lot of people, have been in that position or, in that boat where, right, as far as, their day to day or what they do for work, it's like they may have no interaction with any type of technology, right? It may be like you said, just putting an appointment into a Google Calendar and that's the max that they do, right? And so then it can be a little scary for people just starting, right? Because they think about all, the tools and the tech that they're going to have to go through. But it's like once you actually follow the system that's actually in there and you realize how simple it is, they have like a aha moment. It's just, this light bulb goes off. It's like, I've been worried about all this for this long. It's like, and then essentially it's just they ask themselves the question of, well, why didn't I just start sooner? Right.
Right, right.
So no, I
So
love that.
the funniest thing was as soon as I got inside the program, it literally said start here.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I can follow directions. And then one of the scariest things for me was pushing a button. Like I didn't know anything about TikTok. I didn't know anything about social media. I was a scroller, not a poster.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know what happened if you pushed a button. And so I was always afraid to. And so, Amber would take the phone, our daughter, she'd take the phone away and she'd like, just push this button, mom. And I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? And she's like, what? Who cares? There's another button to push if something happens wrong.
No, I love it. I love it. Yeah, and it's literally that simple, right? It's like they're holding your hand through the entire journey, right? It's like they've already have went through, done it, proven it, hashed out all the mistakes. So it's just like you have this just clear path right to it. So now, who else would you say aside from you was being affected by the way that things were going?
Oh, my husband, 100%. He's self-employed also. He's a mechanic. He's been
Mhm.
one 30 something years, 36 years, I think. And probably longer than that, 37 years. I don't know. Anyway, definitely him because he also has a lung condition. And knowing that he's pushing himself to continue to work to build what we want in the future, you know, I I hate that because, when you have 20% lung capacity, it's a little tough. And you have to go a little slower and you can't just live your best life
Mhm.
because, here he's like healthy as can be.
Right.
Um, but knowing that I can retire him from all that, knowing that I can take the stress of him, how many cars do I need to work on this week? I can take that away from him. And and that's huge because I don't want him to have that stress. I don't want him to have that worry. And because he's truly a provider. Like he wants me to have everything that I want. And not just what we need, but he wants to fulfill the wants,
Mhm.
right? And there's a difference. There's a difference in living life in need and life in want.
Absolutely.
And I didn't realize the power of that until this program either, because we've always had what we needed. We've always had, food and shelter and all that. Um, but there's some things that we didn't have that we wanted. And I remember when our son was a teenager, he wanted something. I can't remember for the life of me what he wanted, but we didn't have the money for it. And I'm like, son, we just can't get that right now. And he looked at me and he goes, I just don't understand why you just don't work more. And I mean, it just hit me like, oh, seriously? And and I said, well, I don't work more because I want to be a present mom. I want to be in the stands when you're doing your activities, when you're playing ball. I want to be up in the state, stands. I want to be there. And if it means going without some stuff, then that's what we're going to do, because I want you to have those memories of us always being there. And if that's trading time for money, then that's what we're going to do. You can live without this,
Hmm.
but I want you to know that I'm always there. And I don't want that to fault at all. And I mean, he got it. He wasn't happy about it, but he got it. But now that he's an adult and he has a child, he sees that, and he remembers us always being there. And it hits different now for him. Uh,
Absolutely.
and he don't even remember what he wanted. So, but he remembers me being in the stands. He remembers us always being
Yeah,
there. So,
definitely. And that's what's so important, right? And I wish more parents just in general would realize that early on. Because I have, two small children of my own, and when you're first starting out as a parent, it's incredibly tough, especially if you have, kids who are very close in age or things like that. Right. And I love what you said about wants and needs. That was
mhm,
great. But it is tough, right? Because it's like when you have to make that decision, well, it's like I can either go, I can work more hours and I can miss, say, a school event or a sporting event,
mhm,
and I can get you what you want, but at what cost? Right.
right.
And then it's like, and then on the other hand, you have, well, if I don't trade all this time, right, and make the money and get the money, and then it's like you ask me for something and I have to tell you no, well, then you're filled with this immense guilt, right? And it's like, and I don't know what it is about being a parent, and it's just it makes you, even though you're doing everything you can to provide and be there for your children, it makes you feel like such a failure, right? And telling your kids no is one of the most heartbreaking things, right? There are cases where, obviously we have to tell them no for good reason, but when
Right.
it's something as simple as, say, just for example, like a candy or maybe a small toy, just something, or hey, can we go to a zoo or something this weekend? You have to say, no, we can't do that, or we can't
Mhm.
afford that. It is tough. So, because I've been there, and it's heartbreaking, essentially, to say the least.
It is. And what's even tougher than that is your kids are now grown, and our kids are close in age. They're 16 months
Mhm.
apart, but they're grown adults and they see us still working hard and not having the retirement that we need. So when you hear your kids going, Mama, don't worry, we'll take care of you. Mama, don't worry, we've got you. We'll take care of you. I've already got a plan. I've already got a plan set aside, and I know how we're gonna make sure that you and Dad's taken care of. And I'm like, why should they be worrying about that?
Yes.
That's crazy. But both
Yes.
of both of them have done that. Both of them have said, we're gonna make enough. We're gonna see the gaps that you had, and we're gonna figure out how to fill those so that we can take care of you.
Right. No, that is a perfect answer, right? Because it's like, as a parent, you want to be the ones to tell your children, hey, you don't have to worry about a thing, right? When you get older, or, it's like, I got you, right?
Yeah.
Everything's taken care of. And then, yeah, I'm sure that hits differently, because, with you having older kids and them being the ones that have to tell you, like,
Hmm.
don't worry, I can take care of you. But yeah, I'm sure, yeah, that must be difficult for sure. So, who would you say that you're building this for, really, aside from yourself?
Our kids. Our kids, and I would absolutely love to take care of my parents as well, and our husband, my I don't share him, my husband's parents. Um, I would love to, take care of them also, because, that's a whole different generation of thinking, because I was raised, You get a job, you pay your bills, and whatever's left, that's what you play on. Well, when there's nothing left to play on, you know there's nothing left to retire on. So, you know, just building for the security of our family and then leading by example. So we live in a small town and I have a salon here in town and like everybody knows who I am. And everyone knows that I'm not techie. Um, but I think if they see that it's possible, then it won't be so scary for them
Hmm.
and they might take a chance on themselves. Because what I
Absolutely.
have learned through Michelle is, well, um, if you can't believe in yourself, let me believe for you until you can. You know, I've clung on to that. Like
Hmm.
I've held tight on that because there's days that I thought, oh, I don't know. Because I just, you know, that stinking thinking you have to
Hmm.
get rid of.
Absolutely.
And through
No,
this, it's taught me how to. So that's been huge.
absolutely. No, I love that. So, what would you say is different about you now compared to when you had first joined the DG community?
Confidence, how I carry myself, how I think about myself, um, how I know that if I can't figure it out, there's a way to figure it out. And if I can't find that way, then I'll find someone who knows the way. Because there's 52,000 people in our community right now, and
Hmm.
it's growing every day. If I don't know the answer, somebody does. And it's just having the courage to ask the question. And I've never had a problem with that.
Hmm.
I've never been like hesitant to talk to someone or hesitant to, you know, and you know, before I would say, well, this is a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I don't say that anymore because if you don't know the answer, it's not stupid.
Absolutely.
You got to ask to get the knowledge.
Hmm. Yeah, and
So,
you are 100% right on that. And I wish more people would take that advice. I think after they listen to that, definitely will, because a lot of the times, right? Uh, the reason why people don't ask questions to begin with is they're scared of the way it's going to make them look, right? Essentially is the biggest thing. So and the what I especially love about this entire community, like you said, there's 52,000 members, which is just mind-boggling to me.
mhm,
And they're all in there with, the same goal in mind, right? Same goals, right? And it's they're just there to help. So it's like you have all these resources at your fingertips, right? So
yeah.
if it's in all the information's in there. So if you don't know something, it's as simple as reaching out to someone in the community who maybe has been in this for a while and has seen success. Literally as simple as sending them a question, hey, how did you do so and so? Or
Mhm.
what's, the answer to this? So no, it's great. So
And
what would
there's
go
one
ahead.
video in the program. I've watched it 6 times
Mhm.
to get a grasp on it. So don't think you can just go through it one time and learn everything.
Right.
You know, give yourself time, give yourself you got to have time to let it all soak in, you know, like you got to have, I don't know, it's like a sponge. You put a wet sponge in water, it's not going to soak a lot up. You put a dry sponge in water, it's going to take a minute, but it's going to get full.
Definitely.
So you just have to give yourself grace.
Definitely. Absolutely. And it's going to happen quicker for some, right? And slower for some. And that's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just what is important is that you're consistent with it, right? You're just taking the right steps in the right direction and just staying on track. So, as far as being in the community since you started, what's something that you're most proud of accomplishing so far?
Um, just learning to trust myself, learning to be consistent. And honestly, when I figured out how to, well, I didn't figure it out. Michelle showed us how, but to um, keep track of our numbers, game changer. And seeing your numbers grow
Mhm.
every week, it's exciting. And
Yes.
so So,
Definitely. Yeah, tracking is huge, right? Because if you don't know where you're started or where you started, you don't know where you're going to end up, right? You don't know how to grow. You don't know what to work on. You don't know what's missing. So, yeah,
mhm,
tracking is super important, right? And that's just huge. And we can get into that another time. But yeah, I wish more people would spend a little more time on that as well.
yeah.
So, as far as mindset goes, right, we talk about it a lot in, personal life and just in general and how important it is, but also how important it is in business as well. What mindset, I can't even speak today. What mindset shift do you think made the biggest difference for you when you had joined?
Um, just just learn how to believe, how to how to trust my inner gut and just do it, you know. Um, it, Sometimes it's intimidating when you have all this information in front of you and you try to you try to remember all of it at once. And so when I figured out how to just like take sections and really focus on that, um, I think that's helped me the most. And I honestly don't remember the question you asked me right now. But so if you want to ask that again, if
Sure.
you
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I don't
It was just what mindset shift made the biggest difference for you.
okay. Yeah. Believing in myself and knowing how to break things down um, is what truly helped the mind shift because it didn't overwhelm it. And then just building my confidence up and seeing the value in myself. Um, Seeing value in yourself creates a huge mind shift that you didn't expect to see coming. And so when you allow yourself to know that you have value and you are important and what you say matters, that changes things.
Definitely. I love that answer. What, so now say your business is growing, right? Your community is growing. Um, Everything is in place. Everything is where you want it to be. What does your dream life look like 12 months from now?
Ooh, ooh, that's an exciting thing to think about because I know a year ago I was not excited about it because nothing had really changed. Nothing had, it's been the same every year after every year. But a year from now is going to be so exciting because I won't have to check my bank account before I go into the store to see which account I need to use, right? Um, I don't want to have to check that. And I know a year from now I won't have to. I don't have to now. So a year from now, that's exciting. And just knowing that I've been consistent to where I have created um the kind of day, the day I want is just get up, do my daily earning activities, and then have the rest of the day to do what I want to do. Doesn't matter if I want to just, stay here at the house or, take a road trip. So just having the freedom to wake up, not know what the day holds other than I know I need to do my activities to get um my 2 hours done. And then, if I wanted to just say, hey Wes, let's pack a bag, let's take off. We have that freedom to do that.
Definitely. Definitely. So, what do you think it'll mean to you when you actually pull it off?
Um, just seeing the kids' face when I tell them like a year from now, and I will tell them this, how much we have in our retirement, how much we have set back, all of our bills are paid, we're completely out of debt, and then seeing the weight get lifted off of their shoulders, knowing that they're not responsible for us.
I love
That's
that.
yeah.
I love that. I believe in you and I know you will. I'm excited for when that time comes.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think it'll mean not only to you, but your family, your future, your legacy once you've actually done it?
I mean, I think it'll mean a lot because they've watched me over the years, tried different things, and I've always like had some kind of side gig going, and that never really panned out. Like I'd make a little bit here and a little bit there, but never significant,
Mhm.
never enough to actually change our environment. And so, but they've never quit believing in me. They've always said, "Well, you can do it. Get out there and do it." They've always supported me, but showing them that I actually did it, um, yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting just to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that. And it sounds like you definitely have a supportive family around you. So that definitely helps for sure.
100%. Yeah.
So, what are some things that you've learned about yourself since starting this whole journey?
Um, Gosh, I've learned a lot. Um, I learned not to put a cap on myself. Like, um, I always thought like this was a pretty good space to live in. Well, I don't want there to be a cap. I want like it to open up and just like be um free to build as big as I want, or and just I don't know, just I've always just capped myself. I've always been like complacent,
Mhm.
and not being like that anymore is it's a really cool feeling because I never I never allowed myself because I didn't want to be disappointed. And so now that I see it, the vision is there, and I know that it's going to pan out because I'm putting the work in, I'm being consistent, I'm being coachable, and I'm seeing all these like little avenues that I can take. Um, yeah, it's exciting that I can literally see the success in front of me.
Absolutely. And I love that you had that, how you said you're kind of complacent, but then you had that shift
Hmm.
for wanting more. And I can definitely see it, and I can hear it, especially when I talk to you as well. So I love that. And like I said, I'm just excited to see when it happens, you know?
Mm.
So, what advice would you give to someone who was maybe in your shoes, or maybe someone who's scared to start with something like this, or might just be on the fence, thinking, is this for me? Is this not for me? What's some advice you'd give to them?
So, what I've always said is it may be for you and it may not be for you. But if you don't check it out, you won't know. You have to at least check it out to see if it is for you. Because if it is, then, get ready because life is fixing to change. And the one thing about this program that's different is it's your business, but you're not doing it alone. You always have someone there to support you and help you. Like I've got a great support system, or a great support family at home. Like our whole family like supports, and they're wonderful, and I love them. I love them for it. But a lot of people don't have that. Um, what I've learned with this is if you don't have that support, you do now, because this community is going to support you 100% where you are to where you're going. And that's something that you don't realize you're missing until you have it, you know? Because
No.
even though I've got a great support system at home, they don't understand what this is completely. I mean, they know that I'm doing something online, um, but they don't want to do it, so they don't want to really learn about it. And that's fine because again, you don't have to chase your friends and family down with this.
Mhm.
Because the wonderful thing is they teach us attraction marketing. Um, so I don't know, that's one big thing is I think people don't realize is they're tired of asking their friends and family to support them. Like, find, like, buy this for me. Can you
Mhm.
like you know, and you don't have to do that with this. So that's something that people have to realize. Attraction marketing is huge, and I think it's overlooked a lot. Um, Attraction marketing and automations, I had no clue how powerful they are. Powerful.
Definitely. Yeah, no, yeah, that answer is, couldn't be any more perfect, right? I think, as far as you talk to people who, may be scared, right? It's just
Mhm.
if you don't do something or if you don't at least just give it a shot, then you'll never know the possibilities that could happen to you, right?
Right,
So, I mean, 1,000%, that was a perfect answer.
right. Scared or
So
not, do it,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. So last question for you. Since joining, what do you now know is possible?
Everything, everything that you can think of is possible. If if it's something that you want bad enough, then you're going to find a way to achieve it. Um, Gosh, what's possible? That I mean, right here, this is possible. Like just getting your mind going, working, and things that you've like, you know, as a kid, we have like these big dreams, right? We're going to do this and we're going to do this and you know, I'm going to go do this, whatever. And then as we age, we get shut down a little bit at a time, not knowing that we're actually getting shut down because, you know, it's like, oh, we got to pay that bill, or oh, we don't have gas in the car, or, you know, something's always just like making it smaller for us. And this has opened up my heart, it's opened up my mind to know that I have the power of knowledge to change the things that I have forgotten that I wanted. So my circle is getting bigger and bigger because the possibilities there. So, and without that, without this program, I would not have figured that out because this program is more than just teaching you something. It's it's just it's teaching you to care. And if we had more people caring in the world, it would be such a better world, right? So, if we can get that movement going of loving on people and caring on people instead of tearing them down and talking down to them, gosh, can you imagine I mean, how powerful that'll be?
Yeah, it'd be huge.
Yeah.
No,
So I'm
that's
excited about that.
definitely, no, I love it. I love that answer. If we had more people, like yourself, yeah, like you said, this world would definitely be a better place. So beautiful answer.
Thank you.
Well, that is all the questions I have for you, Lisa. Thank you so much for hopping on the call with me. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you
Um,
for your time.
absolutely. If you don't have any more questions for me, I will let you go.
I appreciate it, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.